Hi yogis, welcome back to my channel. It's the Spiritual Enchantress here. I'm going to take you through a Vinyasa flow today that focuses on a variation of arm balances. So if you have never tried arm balances before, don't fret. I'm going to teach you the positioning and some modifications so that you know where to get started, and then you can work your way up to removing the modification or the blocks and props that you might use to start off with. If you already know how to do them, then great. This practice is going to be nice and easy for you to flow through. I hope that you gain value from this video. And I'd like to start off with a quick little meditation. I will put a timestamp in the description box below if you would like to skip right to the workout. If not, we'll start by sitting cross-legged on our mat, placing our hands over our heart, closing our eyes, and breathing deeply in and out of the nose. Focusing on the breath, allowing thoughts to pass through, letting them go when you notice that they've carried you away, and bringing your focus back to the body and the sensations of your legs on the floor, sensations of your hands on your heart, of your chest rising and falling, and the breath going in and out of your nose. I want you to imagine that there is a pink glowing light radiating from your heart and slowly seeping through the body, filling you up with love energy. Watch as it slowly creeps through your arms, down into your torso, up into your face, down through the legs, out the fingers and toes, all the way out through your crown chakra, and see that energy expanding around you, really feeling the feelings of love here. It can be helpful to picture the face of a baby you love, or someone who always brings joy into your day. So you can really place that feeling with this love energy and send it to somebody who needs it. Somebody that you might be mad at, someone who frustrates you, someone who you can tell needs love in their life. And release it. Slowly opening the eyes, coming back to our practice space. All right, now we're going to start at the top of our mat. We're really finding our foundation here with our feet hip width distance apart, firmly planted into the mat, scooping the hips forward, the Mula Bandha lock in and up, lengthen through the spine, bring the shoulders back, and bring the hands slowly all the way up, stretching, lengthening the spine, looking up between the hands, And releasing all the way down, folding at the hips until you come to hang the top body. You can have a micro bend in the back of the knees here, just allowing the top to fall over. You can have a little gentle sway here. Bringing the weight into the toes to increase the stretch in the backs of the legs. Breathing in and out of the nose. Bring that weight back into the heels. Find space. Come up to a halfway lift. Plant your hands down on the ground and step or lightly jump into plank position. Lower down chaturanga. Modified chaturanga if you need to. Coming up to a baby cobra here. And if it is in your practice, pushing up and into up dog. Bringing the thighs up off the mat, shoulders back. Tucking the toes under and switching into downward facing dog. Really creating a suction in the hands, pressing into the hands and engaging the shoulders. You can bend the backs of the legs here. Few breaths. Gazing between the feet. And as you look forward, step or lightly jump to the top of the mat. Inhaling all the way up. Exhale, releasing your hands down to your side. And inhale all the way up. Exhale, drop all the way down. Create space. Step or lightly jump into plank. Lower down chaturanga. Push up to upward dog, or to plank position. Holding here. Pressing into downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up. Open up the hip. Get a nice stretch here. And square off the hips. Shift forward into plank, leaving that leg up. And shift down to chaturanga. Press plank. And shift back into downward facing dog, placing that foot down, taking the left foot all the way up, opening up that hip, remembering to keep the shoulders engaged, breathing in and out of the nose here, shifting that hip, squaring it off, with toes towards the mat, knee towards the mat, and shifting forward into a plank position, keeping that left foot hovering, lowering down into chaturanga, pushing back up to to plank, and shifting back into down dog, placing that left foot back on the mat, stepping or hopping to the front of the mat, and taking a forward fold. And grab on the backs of the elbows here. Releasing and breathing in as you bring your hands all the way up to standing, gazing between the hands, and breathing out as you release all the way down. taking a bend in the knees and coming up to chair pose. If you struggle with this pose, you can take a block between your thighs here. And make sure that when you're bending down, that your knee is not surpassing your toes. You should be able to see your toes and tucking those hips in. That might mean you can't go quite as low, but it will mean your abs and your legs will be working a lot harder, which is what we want here. Keeping the hands and the arms and shoulders engaged as well. Everything should be working here. And straighten the legs. Coming all the way up. Breathing in, exhaling all the way down. Inhale, create space. Exhale, step or jump back to plank, lower down chaturanga. Hold chaturanga. 5 breaths. And shift to upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat, step or lightly jump your feet to your hands. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Take a bend in the knees and coming up to chair position. Checking your form here. And release, fold all the way down. Walk your toes out to the sides of the mat. Coming in down to Malasana, a yogic squat. Taking the hands to prayer position at the chest. Pressing the elbows into the knees. If you'd like to modify here, you can take blocks and place them underneath your butt so that you're not going down quite as far and putting that much tension on your hip flexors. We're going to take our hands down on the mat, shoulder width distance apart, with our fingers spread nice and wide, bringing our feet together. And we're going to just start by leaning forward slightly and pressing weight into the wrists, just getting them warmed up for crow pose. Kind of rocking back and forth. Now flipping the hands over and warming up the wrists. Again, where you place a little bit of weight on it, ease off. Place a little bit of weight, ease off. Shake out the wrists. Give them a little turn. And we're gonna prepare for crow pose here. So we're going to take our hands shoulder width distance apart, and we're going to have our feet touching, and we're going to bend the elbows and have the knees kind of tucked away in the armpits here. If you have crow in your practice, feel free to go up. Now we're going to shift our weight into the hands as we bring our feet up off the ground and use the strength of our abs to hold our legs up off the floor. Now, if this is too hard for you, you can either, if you do not have blocks, work at bringing one leg up at a time. Holding that one leg up, balancing just slightly on the other one, building strength in each side. Or you can take a block and come up onto the block, 1 or 2 even, so that you can really get the positioning and the strength in the arms without having to lift your feet up yet. Okay? Coming down, taking a moment to shake out the wrists, placing the hands on the mat, stepping back into plank position, lower down chaturanga, inhaling upward dog, exhaling downward facing dog. Looking to the top of the mat, step or lightly jump your feet to your hands. Inhale all the way up, exhale all the way down, inhale to a flat back, step or lightly jump your feet to plank, lower down chaturanga, inhaling upward dog, exhaling downward dog. Taking the right leg high, up to the sky, opening up that hip, and swinging it forward and placing it between the hands, placing the back foot down, and coming up to warrior one. Keeping a nice bend in the front knee without the knees going forward past the toes. Nice length in the spine, and shifting the left hip forward to try and square off the hips here. Really pressing into that back foot. Keeping the arms engaged and releasing down. Take that foot back, lower down chaturanga, inhaling upward dog, exhaling downward dog. Taking that left foot up high to the sky, opening up that hip, swinging it forward between the hands, placing the right foot down at an angle, and coming up into warrior one. Keeping the integrity of that front knee, squaring off the left hip, really firmly pressing into that, right hip and firmly pressing into the right foot. Keeping the spine elongated, fingers activated. Choose a spot on the wall in front of you as your focus point, also known as your drishti. And releasing the hands on either side of the foot. Bring that foot back into plank. Lower down chaturanga. Inhaling upward dog. Exhaling downward dog. Looking to the top of the mat. Step or lightly jump your feet to your hands. And inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Bringing a bend in the knees, coming up to chair pose. We're going to take the right leg over top of the left, eagle legs, and bring the right arm under the left for eagle arms. Should try and bring the elbows up so that they're parallel with the shoulders, and bring the shoulder blades back. Keeping strength in the spine and the stomach. Coming right back to it if you fall out. Focusing your drishti. Releasing the leg. We're gonna step it back into a high lunge. Keeping the arms. Releasing the arms. Prayer position at the chest. Twisting over to the left. Really firing up that back leg, keeping it nice and high off the ground. You can have a micro bend in the knee if need be. Gazing over that top elbow. Now I'm going to prep you for a side crow. So if you know how to take side crow, do that now. If not, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hands down onto the mat on the outside of our left foot, placing our leg across the elbows, making sure we have that solid foundation, and lifting our legs up. Again, we can practice just having our feet on the ground and slowly coming up onto our tippy toes, trying to lift the feet off. We can take a block, stand on the block, find our position with our upper thigh across the elbows, and work on our abdominal strength until we're ready to lift up. And if you do lift up, you can scissor the legs here. And release. Shake out the arms, the wrist. Place your hands down on the mat. Step back to plank and shift into down dog. Looking to the top of the mat, step or lightly jump your feet to your hands. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Create space. Place your hands down, step or lightly jump back to plank. Exhale down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. We're going to take dolphin here. So we're going to bring your hands down onto your knees, keeping that down dog bottom. You can either stay here pressing away from the mat, engaging the shoulders, or walk your feet in, increasing that pressure into the shoulders. Press up to down dog. And lift to the top of the mat. Step or lightly jump your feet to your hands. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Inhale to a flat back. Hold all the way over. Take a bend in the knees. And come up, chair pose. Getting our positioning here. We're going to take eagle legs on the other side. Bring that left leg over the right. Either having your foot or ankle against the side of your leg or wrapping it around. Bringing the left arm underneath the right or wrapping around and taking those eagle arms. Making sure that the spine is elongated, the shoulders are activated. Focusing your drishti. If you're falling out, coming right back to it. We all fall every once in a while. It's how we deal with the fall, how we get up and continue on that defines us. Falling is just part of the process. Releasing the legs. We're going to step back into a high lunge, keeping the eagle arms. Releasing the arms, coming to prayer position at the chest. Correct your footing if you need to. Untwisting to the right. Engaging that back leg. Really pressing that elbow into the outside of the right knee and looking up and over. Again, we're going to prepare for side crow, so if you have that in your practice, take it now. If not, you're going to bring in your left foot, place your hands down, facing the side of your mat on the outside of your right leg, and line up the top of your thighs on your elbows. Getting ready to lift the feet up off the ground. Remembering you can use blocks if you'd like. Once you get the position, you can open those legs out into a scissor and come back down. Shaking out those wrists. Coming back into down dog. Waving forward to plank and pushing back to down dog. Inhale, wave forward. One breath. Exhale, push back to down dog. Inhale, wave forward. And exhale, push back to down dog. One more time. Inhale, way forward. We're gonna hold for 10 breaths here. Press back to down dog, exhale. Look to the top of the mat, step or lightly jump your feet to your hands. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Lift, find space. And come all the way up. We're gonna step our legs nice and wide open. And we're gonna make a parallel line from the outside edge of our foot to the ends of our mats. We're going to hinge at the hips till we come all the way down, placing our hands on the floor. You can use blocks here if that is too much for you, so that you can keep that nice activation in the spine, nice length here. You can have a micro bend in the knees here. And if you do have the flexibility, you can walk your hands back between your legs as if you're trying to reach through behind you. Now we're going to take our hands and walk them over to the right side, getting a nice stretch on the right. Listening to your body here, only going as far as you can without hurting yourself. If you can take the right arm up and take a twist here. Otherwise, staying where you are. Releasing. Walking through center all the way over to the left side. Taking a twist with the right arm if you would like. Left, I'm sorry. And releasing back to center. We're gonna bend the right knee as we bring our hands over to the one side and flex the left leg here. Bringing your hands prayer position at the chest and looking over to the left. If you have it in your practice, you can take a bind here, remembering to keep length in that spine. Releasing. We're going to straighten the right leg and walk over to the other side, bending that left leg and straightening the right, flexing that right foot. Bringing our hands to prayer position at the chest, pressing into the knee, looking over to the right. You can take a bind here if it's in your practice. Slowly releasing, walking back to center. We're going to heel toe the feet into center. Take your hands underneath the feet on the tops of the hands here so that your toes are on the inside of your wrist. You can bend the knees, just hang down here in monkey pose. I like to even use my toes to give myself a little wrist massage here. Release the hands. Come all the way to standing. Bring the hands down to the chest. Coming back to the top of our mat. Lifting all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Taking a bend in the knees, coming up to chair pose again. Taking the right foot over the left knee. Come to prayer position at the chest. Balancing here in a one-legged chair. Now you can either stay here or you can attempt a modified flying crow with me, where we keep the legs as they are, take our hands down on the mat, scooch that left foot back a little bit, and you're gonna lie the shin across your elbows, lifting that left leg up and extending it out. And releasing down, bringing that other foot back into plank, shifting to downward facing dog. Looking to the top of the mat, step or lightly jump your feet to your hands. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way down. Taking a bend in the knees, coming up to chair pose. Coming and bringing your left foot this time onto the top of the right knee. Flexing that foot. Bring your hands to prayer position at the chest. And either staying here in chair or coming down into a modified flying crow. Bringing that shin across the elbows. Woo. Finding your position here and lifting that right foot up. Falling, potentially, but coming right back to it then. And releasing. Back to plank. Downward dog. Looking to the top of the mat and jumping all the way through to a seated position. Coming back onto our backs. Taking happy baby pose here. We're gonna grab the outsides of our feet, bending the knees, and pulling down kind of towards our armpits, but keeping the tailbone on our mat. Not bending up like this. Back is flat, tailbone down, and creating a slight pressure in the foot by engaging our shoulders down. I apologize for my child yelling at his Xbox in the other room. Catching our breath here, some nice deep breaths in and out of the nose. And releasing the legs down. We're gonna rock ourselves up to seated. We're gonna bring our legs out to the side. Coming into a straddle position and keeping legs in the spine, bringing our chest towards the floor until we hit our edge. Not bringing a bend in the knees. If you're bringing a bend in the knees, you're going too far. You might find that as you sit in the position for a few breaths, you feel your hips loosen up and you can go just a little bit further. Slowly pressing ourselves up to the center. Slowly bringing our legs together. Windshield wiper side to side to release the tension in the hips. Coming back to lay on our backs here. You can either take a restorative pose where you take a block underneath the hips and bring the legs up in a 90-degree angle, flexing the feet, or you can go to the next level, pressing up into shoulder stand. Really engaging the feet and the legs, bringing length in the spine. You should feel this in the backs of the legs and in the thighs. Gazing at your toes, not twisting your neck. And releasing the legs down into plow if you have this position, otherwise staying where you are. You can bring the knees to the ears for deaf yogi if you have this in your practice. Give your head a little squeeze. And release one vertebrae at a time, all the way back to lying flat on your back. Hug your left or your right knee into your chest and take it over to the left. For a lying spinal twist, bring your arms out to a T, looking in the direction of your right hand. Coming back to center, bringing the left knee in, give both knees a little squeeze and release the right leg down to the mat. Bring that left knee over to the right, bring that arm out to a T and looking over to your left hand. Releasing back to center and bringing those legs out wide, dropping your feet open, arms out to the sides with the palms facing the ceiling. In final rest position, Savasana. Not skipping this part. Really allowing the sensations to go through your body. And whether you fell out today, or struggled with a pose, or had to modify, be proud of yourself for making it to the end. It's through struggle sometimes, falling out others, or both. It's through our failures that we're able to find meaningful ways to correct and succeed in life and on our mats. I'm so proud of you for sticking with it, especially if you're a beginner who's just learning how to do the poses. If you continue trying even a couple minutes a day, you'll get there eventually. And that doesn't mean you won't fall, but that's just part of the practice. All right, yogis, rolling over onto your right side. Pushing up into a seated position. Thank you for joining me on my mat today. I'm really proud of you for making it this far. If you liked this video, please like below, subscribe if you haven't already to receive new updates of content. I do tarot card readings as well. And share this with anyone who you think would gain value from this video. Comment below with any comments or suggestions that you have for me, and even questions about modifications if you have any. Other than that, have a wonderful day, yogis. Namaste. Bye.